Welcome to another episode of Parenting Paused. So happy to be here with you, and most of all, happy to be home. I have been on a over a month long trip in an RV with a friend, traveling to the warm weather out of the cold Colorado. And even though it was an amazing adventure and trip, so happy to be back here in Colorado in my bed and with my bathtub and all my wonderful comforts. So, loves, wanted to share with you a little bit before we get started today about I have a new parent coach training, a Pure Joy parent coach training coming up in May, and I'm doing a free informational call next Thursday at 10 a.m. And if you're interested in coming, go to the website and go under Be a Coach, and you can sign up. You'll see a little link there, a little button to push to sign up for that call. And I'd love to have you come check it out. It's a very personalized training, only 10 to 12 folks. You get tons and tons of attention, and it is a personal as well as a professional training. So if you've been hanging out with Pure Joy for a while, and find you have some interest to check it out on a deeper level, come and join me. Free tea times every other week. I think we'll have one. I think we had one this week. So in another couple of weeks, you can also find out about that if you sign up to learn the safe seat. I have a 5-day free process on my website for that. So let's jump on in. I had so many insights and lessons on my journey. And the biggest one that I recognized in myself and in my parenting was how easy it is to devalue our children. And what I mean by that is that we have a certain way of being. We have a certain way that we like things to be. We stand in a position to own or rent our houses, and we have certain rituals and things that we have set up in our lives to support us. And yet, when our children come into our world, we start to get a little frustrated, especially if they do things differently than we do, or if they have to learn things and we have an expectation on them that they should already know how to do certain things. So what can begin to happen is that we actually devalue our children's way of doing or how they do it, and we make a demand on what they do, when they do, how they do, where they do. Now, what this sets up in the child is a sense of feeling like I'm not of much value here. Maybe everything that I do gets criticized or told that I'm doing it wrong or I have to do it mama or daddy's way. And therefore, I lose this sense inside of myself, this wonder and this delight in bringing how I see the world or how I do things. Now, this is so easy to do. I know I did it. And I watch so many parents do this where we think that we're just teaching our children to get along in the world and how to be responsible and how to do things. And yet we forget that we are asking them to do things our way. And we stand in that position of thinking that we know what's best. Well, it's not that we know it's best, we know what works for us. And therefore, we have a tendency to get kind of rigid and force our children into the expectations of them carrying our values, living the way we live, doing their life the way we do our life. Let's say if we're a neat freak or we really like things organized, then we have an expectation on our children that they are going to live into that capacity to organize. And if your child doesn't really have that tendency or that trait very well developed, we're going to see them as messy, maybe as lazy, because we see through our lens of what makes us comfortable. And if, like most of us, feel like we need to be in control of our emotions and our comfort, then we have a tendency to look down on our children or criticize our children or feel like they're maybe even threatening us if they're not willing to subordinate themselves and their way to do it our way. So we want to work with that this week. We really want to look at what are ways that we can support our children in knowing that they are of great value to us, not just on the love department, because of course they're valuable to us because we get to open our hearts, but even in the practical world. I know for myself, I know how to do my phone and all my electronics, but often I will ask my daughter to support me. Like tonight, we were putting some things up, and I ask her to do certain things that I know I could do, but it's of great value to me. And she's of great value because my daughter's a very organized human being on the practical, not my highest value. So I always put her in charge of the organization pieces in our home, which I really let her know how deeply I value what she brings to the relationship. So take some time this week and ask yourself, what can you really turn toward and value in each of your children? And how can you let them know of what great value they are to you and to create situations where they can rise up? They can offer you something instead of you always having to be in charge or the one that knows or the one that's in control or the one that always feels like you're in the teacher role. Make a effort to support your child in teaching you something about the world, about their view, and to see the world from a different angle. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.